So my name is Samir Bhangar. I'm on the PowerCat team with a customer advisory team for Power Apps, Flow, and the Common Data Service. Today we're going to talk about citizen development. So if some of you attended Charles Lamana's and Ryan Cunningham's session, the general session, he talks about the Power Platform as the platform for everyone, for every developer. One category of that developer is what we call the citizen developer, and this idea of citizen development seems to be increasing, and we hear about it quite a bit more these days. So I went online looking for a definition. You know, what is a citizen developer? And this is one thing that I found from a gentleman named Keith Watling. Keith Watling was here last year presenting his story and what he did at Ariva and the apps he's built at Ariva UK. The way he defined a citizen developer is a fixer and builder who, using tech, makes their environment a better place. Someone who changes IT from a money pit to a function that makes money through efficiencies and improved business outcomes. I like the last line. They like to get stuff done. Okay. I think the true value here, and then he goes on to say, and this idea of harmony, of you've got citizen development and IT, and there's this tension that sometimes comes up. But I looked at this, and the quick decision I made was I think Keith is better qualified to host this session. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Keith Watling to take us through the rest of this. Thank you.
Session today, because a lot of the technical sessions that you'll see over the next couple of days, there's a whole bunch of stuff around the ones and the noughts, the bits of code, and all that kind of important stuff. But really, digital transformation, the tech bit's really easy. It's the people bit that's really hard. So for those of you who are in IT departments and you're senior people and you kind of got this big thing going on over here, eventually, if you've got a Power Platform thing going on, you're going to have a conversation with one of these three people. So, who are they? Let's find out. Oh, and we've got the Power Addicts thing as well, which we put at the beginning. So I help to run, and I'm a member of this incredible community called Power Addicts. You might have seen some of our little badges and T-shirts knocking around in the event today. And we've got Vivek down the front. He's got one of his T-shirts on. And basically, we're a community on Twitter, and we like to help one another out. We have a kind of a vision statement, and it's basically, if we help you, you've got to help somebody else. You've got to pay it forward, right? There's no entry level. Just come along, ask any question. Nothing's wrong. Just bring yourself, bring your laptop. Yeah, ask a question. We'll help you. So these are three citizen developers, and they are from very different organizations. We've got Lauren, who's from a high school. We've got Rebecca, who's from a small family business, and we've got Nick, who's from the American Red Cross. They're amazing people, and they've got amazing stories, and they've been given these. And Nick had his one last year, and these are Power Apps Champions cards, and it's one of the programs that Microsoft run to find excellence in the Power Platform in their organizations, and Lauren and Rebecca got theirs today. And that's a really big achievement. So a round of applause for them, please. And then we have the villain of the piece, Lad Laird from Schlumberger, the evil IT manager, the big bad wolf. These are the three little pigs, or the three bears and Goldilocks, but I'm saying nothing about that. So what does it mean to be a citizen developer? Like, we hear it a lot about enablement, about getting stuff done. And these three are going to talk today about doing that. We're going to have a few presentations, and then we're going to have a big open Q&A where you can listen and they can talk. We did this last year. It was really successful, and there's a lot of good, rich stuff that came out of it. So without further ado, we've got up first Lauren Taylor. Now, before Lauren gets up on stage, I've got one question. Hands up if you've been on the front cover of Microsoft's website. Anyone? No, like your photo has been on the front of Microsoft's website. Is it? Yeah. You are the Microsoft cover girl. Yeah, exactly. So Lauren was featured in a wonderful article the other day about people in the community and citizen developers getting stuff done, and she was right there on the front cover of Microsoft's website. So if that doesn't tell you how important this is to Microsoft, nothing will. And Lauren, take it away.
Okay. I'm probably one of the most shy people that you'd meet, so this attention is a bit much for me. I kind of like to hide in a corner. But as Keith said, I am an assistant principal at an elementary school in Tacoma, Washington. So our school is about 80% free reduced lunch. We have about 540 students on campus, anywhere from pre-K through 5th grade. So as you can imagine, I do not spend my days making Power Apps at all. So Samir asked me, to kind of talk about some of the things that make me me. So I'm a mom and a wife, and those are my babies right there. And they keep me busy when all my other 540 babies don't. And then some shots of what I do basically on a daily basis. So I help during math when we're having a tantrum and we don't want to do it. I supervise during recess and try and, build some kids up. I work on teacher evaluations at about 11 o'clock at night, because that's the only time that I have to do that. My office is a nap time room because we had a tantrum, but I am not sending you home. You are taking a nap and you are going back to class. I'm a mascot tamer because the high school mascot came and visited us, and about half the school is afraid of him. I'm a social emotional coach because I'm not sending you home, so you're going to tell me what you're feeling now and how we're going to get you back to green zone is what we call it. I'm a substitute. Actually, last Friday, I subbed in 3rd grade and walked into the classroom, and it was a nightmare. So I vacuumed it, and then I taught in the classroom. I'm loved by little people, and that's the best part of my job. I do all those things to be loved by little people. So all that basically to say that I am not in any way, shape, or form a programmer, a developer, really, and anything. I'm all of those other things. So my journey to the Power Platform really was last summer. I just, here's the ribbon on Office 365, and Flow was there, and I thought, well, I'd never used that before, so I'll just click on that and see what happens. And I thought, oh, it automates things. Well, that's cool. I need a lot of things automated. And so the first Flow template that I had used was OneNote. An email that lets you know that there's a new page in OneNote, because that's how I give my teachers feedback. So I want them to check it immediately. So if I put feedback in their section of OneNote, then they'd get that feedback immediately. And then I saw this Flow on saving classroom walkthrough data, which I thought, I can use forms, put it in SharePoint, and save all of that data there. And then this was the kicker. I was able to visualize that walkthrough data in Power BI. So those were really the 3 templates that kind of got me started. But in that visualizing the walkthrough data in Power BI, I knew nothing about SharePoint. Like, I didn't even know I didn't know what any of these things were. I just clicked buttons and YouTubed a lot. So yeah, I didn't know what SharePoint was, and I needed to kind of figure out what SharePoint was. But kind of backing up a little bit, when I was starting to use Flow, I learned that something was wrong with our Flow kind of district-wide. And so I got pushed up and escalated all the way to Microsoft. And the guy there says, well, if you're trying to do this with Flow, then, Power Apps is definitely going to be your gig. And I was like, no, it's not. No, I'm not an app, anything. And then I saw this button. And I was like, oh, you push that, you make an app. Okay, well, let's go. Let's do this. And so this is where we are now. This is actually an app that we use in our building. I am pretty sure that I'm the only school. We have 33 elementary schools, 15 or so, 8 or 9 middle schools, and about 5 high schools. And I'm pretty sure that we're the only one using Power Apps. And if the others are, we're the only one using the entire platform. So a lot of people are like, what is going on here? How do you do this? So basically, I'll demo it here in a second, but my solution kind of took this stack here of reading assessments. That's about one class worth of reading assessment. And this lived in a file cabinet in a teacher's classroom. And then somehow, if you wanted to see that, you had to ask and interrupt. And so now we can actually visualize that data using the Power Platform. So I'm going to show you a little bit about how that works, if Samir can help me out.
Might need to switch machines so I can help with that.
Okay.
Lauren is literally like the busiest person you've ever come across. Like, I'm always trying to get hold of her and like, hey, Lauren, do you want to talk about this? She's like, yeah, we can make an appointment in 6 weeks' time. I've got some, after the kids have gone home,
Yeah.
It's mad.
Yeah, it's a lot. Samir works with me pretty well. We usually do a call at like 8:30 at night.
That's Seattle time, so that's like 3 o'clock our time.
No,
There's no way I can stay up that late.
Is this it? Okay. So this app, our school, we rolled out Microsoft Teams last year, and I knew that in trying to roll out an app to a staff that is at varying levels of tech willingness, that I needed to make it look like something we were already doing. So that's why the integration to Teams is really important. If I left it standalone, no one would have adopted it or used it. It would have been another thing. So in our reading app here, this is the main part. This was my first app, and now I've kind of combined them all. What we can do here is all of our students, all of their reading data is collected right within this app. Oh, my pictures aren't showing up. There was a great picture of Keith there, so. But you can, all of our reading data for our entire school is within this system, whereas before you saw that. My classroom was in a file cabinet, the next teacher's, and so on and so on. So when I went in and I walked through the classroom to observe a teacher, I just randomly read with a student. Now I can go in and I can click on this student. I can see what this student, the student's goals are. I can say, okay, well, you're working on literal comprehension. I want you to read a little bit here, and I want you to tell me about that. I can leave notes, and the teacher can leave notes. And this is really powerful because we have many adults working with students. You might have special education, ELL, a reading co-teacher, and everyone able to leave notes all in one place. So we're really serving the needs of that student instead of trying to organize the work that we're doing with that student, was really what the point of it was. The other piece is that this is just a management nightmare, honestly. And so this is a new feature that I just kind of learned how Samir helped me walk through this. But so now on a teacher can take a student, search them through our Office 365 and set an appointment with that student. A lot of our classrooms are using Teams, and so that'll show up on the student's team, or you have a one-on-one conferring reading appointment with your teacher. Remember, you need to be able to talk about X, Y, and Z. So these are all things that we couldn't do before, or we couldn't do efficiently before. And then the one that Keith helped me with was our check-in, check-out data system. So all of our students who we call Tier 2 students, or students who may exhibit behaviors in the classroom that just need an additional person to check in with them throughout the day. And so they have a check-in, check-out person. This system traditionally was one little piece of paper, goes around with the student, it's turned into our family liaison. Once a month, she collects all that data in an Excel spreadsheet. You can't talk to her, you can't look at her, you better buy her chocolate and coffee. And then we visualize that data once a month. And now our check-in, check-out people can go in, enter the student scores. Maybe it was 15 out of 20 or something like that, and the smiley face changes for the kids. And what's really powerful is that we can actually view that data right within the app. So we can I can just jump in and see, okay, this is how many points today we should have earned. This is where, this is what we actually earned. I can take it day by day. I can look at the comments. But then also, obviously, on the Power BI side, I can dig into that, really dig into that data. And this is the part that's got people kind of knocking on our door, because before, actually district-wide, except for at my school, reading data is a number. This student's a 28, you're a 34, you're this, you're that. At our school, reading data is, okay, I can group students by maybe their favorite book, or I can group them by the need for accuracy, and that can't be done district-wide. And I needed that because, like I told you, my population, I have a lot of work to do, and I need to do it fast. And so that's really what the Power Platform has kind of helped me to do.
It's an incredible story. It really is. And it's a lot of fun to think that, you know, a smiley face can make a big difference like that. Now, we have someone from a small family business who's got a lovely backstory about how she got into technology. And I will let her tell you all about it. It's Rebecca Sackett from Custom Air Products.
Yeah. My name is Rebecca. I'm from Custom Air Products and Services. We're a company that builds, manufactures, has service for commercial and industrial air conditioner units. My mom actually worked there for a couple of years, and last year I was kind of at a point where I wanted to change careers, and she was at a point where she needed somebody else in there, is getting close to possibly retiring in the next 10 years or so. So she was like, you know, I can't be your boss or anything, but I think you'd be a fit. Come interview. So I go in and they ask me, have you used Power Apps? We just got Office 365. And I'm like, no, I've never even heard of it. So I go home and Google it, try to figure out what it is, watched a couple of videos, and was like, I've tried, like, I don't know. So I knew how to use Access already. I'd used it before. I knew I was forced as a teenager to learn to write some HTML code, so I knew how to do that a little. I despise it. But I was like, why not? Let's try. So they had some stuff from FormStack first, and they're like, move this over so we can cancel it. So I built some just super submit form, really easy apps. I just poked around in some of the templates, and they were plain. I prefer not to write real long code if I don't have to. I like using just submit and go forward. So I did those, and then we took one that we moved over from Access because they wanted to be able to use it off-site. And you can with Access, but it's just not as smooth. So, and then now we've built some big ones. So we have a lot of techs in the field that use them. We have guys in the shop. It's more that type of people that use ours. It's not a lot of office people. The office people are viewing the data, but the people in the field are the ones who are inputting the data. And I've worked with guys before. I have no problem going out in the shop and griping at them when they don't do it right and showing them how to do it right again. So they laugh. They all kind of duck when they see me coming because they figure I'm coming to tell them that they didn't put something in correctly. But they like it. They're learning to adjust and surprise me all the time with the stuff that they've picked up. So I have a.
You have a demo, yeah.
So we have a big app that we're going to do more on tomorrow, but it basically tracks the whole process of the unit. So the PM puts in the steps and says, I need it to go to fab, I need it to go electrical, I need it to go to paint, depending on what type of unit it is, and it follows the full process with checklist. Well, one part that we do, which is the quality check, used to be done. The PM would send engineering an email, and then engineering would fill out in Excel a portion of it, and then they emailed it to somebody, and he would fill out his portion and maybe change it if he didn't think something was right that the PM or engineering did. And then he would email it to somebody who would print it, scan it, put it in a folder, and then email it with a document. So now we have it actually in multiple apps, but it's all tied to the same data, which I actually have on a SharePoint list. So the PM puts in a request first, and this is on a SharePoint list, and it's one line item, but different people put in different columns. So the PM puts in a portion, engineering puts in a portion, and then the guy that's actually testing it puts in a portion. So I'm just going to put in some information real quick. So they just put in the job number, make, model. Ours has a little more detail than this, but I just wanted to throw this one together so y'all didn't have to watch me click through multiple apps. So PM, he puts it in, it emails engineering and says, hey, you've got a unit on your list that you need to go put the design specs in. And I have hidden columns basically that are like flagging, that are saying this step got done, this step got done. It's kind of my checklist. I use hidden columns a lot on when I do SharePoint list. So now engineering, they have it on their list, and they have to go in and they have to put in, you know, their design specs. So, you know, this needs to be 280, this one needs to be 18, let's say 30. These numbers are not right, I'm just making random stuff up right now. And I have, we have some that they do from iPads, some they do from phones. It's just like all different types of devices, some that are viewed from computers. If they're putting in a lot of data, I usually tell them that, you know, they need to probably do it from a computer just for the ease. So he puts in his information. He can view what information the PM put in, but he can't change it. And I also use the people fields and the date fields a lot when I'm doing SharePoint lists to say who submitted it. So this is saying that, you know, this is who put in the design specs. And then the actual readings are put in by a tech in the shop who's out there testing the unit. So he's got his phone out, and he can see now what the PM put in. He can see what the engineering put in, but he can't change it if, you know, that's just a label there, but he can see it. So he's now putting in what the actual readings are so that, you know, they normally put in like ranges a lot of times for the design specs, or the guys in testing will know what the ranges are, but anyway, that's beside the point. So whenever they get all the information in, it's flagging for all of this stuff. So I have a flow that is saying when an item is created or modified, look for these conditions. So then it's looking to see, did everybody put in what they needed to put to know if the flow needs to go ahead and run. And almost done here. Should have done less fields. Okay. All right, so now at this point, my engineering has put in their information, my guy in the shop has put in his information, and it's ready to run the flow. So like I said, the trigger is whenever it is created or modified, which I'm using for modified. I have a status in there, which is what's going to tell the flow, don't keep running over and over. If y'all haven't ever done that, it's a pain in the butt. If you don't have certain things in there that say, do this once and don't keep going, it will run over and over. I did one time that was actually creating items, so it was like, in 3 minutes, it was up to like 10,000. I couldn't delete them fast enough. It was bad. I had to delete the whole flow and rebuild it. But so it flags for all those, and it says, okay, if all of that's happened, then get my item off the SharePoint list, and then populate my Word template, and then create a file, which I use for OneDrive here, and convert it to a PDF. But I'm going to delete it at the end, so it doesn't matter where it's at there. And then update my item, which is my original item on the SharePoint list, and add this document as an attachment. So now that document is actually going to attach back to that in the attachment that's automatically there for the SharePoint list item. So, see, I think I did a little better breakdown. Oh, for the Word document, to insert the fields, wherever you want the SharePoint item to show up, you're going to actually insert a plain text control. And if you don't already have that, it'll be under the Developer tab. It's just to add in. So there's my ones that you're looking for. So my original status that I have for whenever item was created is for it to show requested, and then that status actually has to get modified, and that's what's going to tell it to stop. And so when you do the populate for the Word document, it's going to have over on the left the fields that you've added in the plain text controls in the document, and then in the right you're just clicking and clicking and adding all your fields from your SharePoint list. It's super easy. This flow takes like 3 minutes probably to build, once I built it the first time. So create the file, convert the file to the PDF, and then updating the item. The only purpose of updating it at this point is changing that status so that it's not running again. And then I'll add the attachment, and I'll put a delay on the end because most of the time with SharePoint, if you're adding an attachment, it takes a minute or two for it to show up, so you don't want to delete it too fast. So it's just deleting that off of OneDrive because it was just there temporarily. So once that's all done, the guy for QC, he needs that report. So he has a PDF like that fast. It usually takes maybe a minute and a half. So for us, like the testing guy can call and be like I just did it, and he can go look and he sees the report right there in the app. And I just use launch here where he can actually click and it opens it in a new tab and he can print it if he needs to, because ours he actually physically prints it, but the document's there to view, and it's that fast. The other option that a lot of people use is the HTML, but I really like the Word one. I think it's real easy to use, especially if it's a document that you want to look nice and really be able to format. So,
Thank you.
all right.
That's awesome. I mean, we keep talking about digital transformation, and we all know what it is if you're in the IT department and in the IT world. But these are people on the ground who are doing digital transformation without knowing about it. It's because they're just doing it because they need to do it. For those of you who were in here earlier on for our little flow session, listening to Louise Fries talk about her flows, you'd have seen they were very colourful. And when she speaks, she says that is because that is what I need the flow to do. It's about business need. So with that, we have our wonderful panel who are all sitting down, and we can all ask them questions about how we do it. So a little bit of a proper introduction to Lad Laird. So Lad is doing some incredible stuff at Schlumberger, trying to bring together citizen developers from no citizen developers to tons of citizen developers and empower people like this. I mean, that's visionary IT right there. I was talking to your boss last night, sitting in the audience with us now, and he could not say enough great things about what's happening. And he gets to see all of it because it's all highly visible. It's not all hidden away like Excel and Access used to be. So have we got any questions for our panel to start us off? I mean, what's going to be the number one thing? Oh, God, it's hands from my IT department. Hands, go ahead.
It's a great question, a really good question. So I run a Center of Excellence for mobile application development for Schlumberger, right? So we build a lot of professional grade software, and one of the things that, as a professional developer, we like to approach things with a standard approach, right? And you start with UX research and design and architecture reviews, and there's a whole SDLC, software development lifecycle we follow, right? With the Power Platform, honestly, what you have to embrace as a IT professional is that it's completely turned on its head. Doesn't mean there's not a professional side of it, which we can talk about later, but from a citizen developer side, what you have to do is allow them to innovate and allow them to try things. And what we've seen, and we had a big hackathon about this time last year with about 400 teams across, 400 people across about 30 countries, and what we were surprised at is the amazing ideas that popped up and bubbled up if we would allow people to innovate and create. So what should we do to help, right? We should provide resources. We have all this professional capability. We need to provide those resources on demand. Oftentimes, you can watch and see what's happening inside your company, and rather than trying to shut things down and turn things off, look and see what's getting adoption. We have, this will sound crazy, 10,000 monthly active users on our Power Platform now, right? So we have 1,300 apps that have been built, but only 300 of those apps have over 10 monthly active users. So you have a lot of activity, but where's the value? So where does Central IT come in? Coming in there when you see a lot of user adoption. There is some governance you want to do, right, to make sure, especially when data starts happening, when data starts creating value and you want to make sure it aligns with a certain data structure, but you should let people invent and create and support them. But there is a point at which that it becomes important for the big IT guys to come in and apply governance and help and do those kind of things. And does that answer your question?
Every time I've tried
I had a very hard time letting go of Access. It's one of those things, if you know it, and it's very comfortable. And so it was hard for me to adjust. As a matter of fact, when I first hired on, they were wanting me to move that stuff on with Power Apps, and I'm like, I could just redo it in Access so much better. But there's some things you just can't do, and Access is just steadily really phasing out. Eventually, I just don't know how much, more it's really gonna do. But for us, I don't know if you need it, but our main selling point was the offsite abilities. If you're using the database offsite, it doesn't work as well. It doesn't work as fast. You usually end up having to split it out with the front side and the back side. And a lot of times you end up having to download it to be able to even use it. And you don't have to do any of that with Power Apps. Our salesmen can sit in their truck on their iPad and pull up their information before they walk in for a customer, and they could never do that with Access. So, I would say that, it really isn't as hard to transition. It's just scary. So maybe if you could talk him into starting to just really look around, because I still lay out my data in the background very similar to how I would in Access, which is not necessarily how everybody else with Power Apps does it. So it really wasn't as hard of a transition. It was just a scary one. But I would just say maybe give him a little nudge to really start looking at it, that it's really not as different as it seems. It's just hard to get used to it first.
I think one of the frightening things, I have the same kind of problem. I do a lot of Excel still. There's still a lot of VBA floating around that requires maintaining, and it's another thing you have to do when you do the Power Platform. It's like there's now 2 things and 3 things, and you have to keep supporting that. And yes, you can slowly transition it over, but when you have a big implementation, it's a lot to do, and you're already when you're doing that at that granular level, with Visual Basic for applications, you're doing a lot of work. So you end up kind of the phone's going to ring at the weekend. You just know that. You're going to get woken up by 5 o'clock in the morning. But with the Power Platform, that just sort of stopped. And it's weird that you're not in demand as much. And I wonder sometimes, I wonder whether people are a little bit scared of actually, will my relevance in this business be taken away from you? And the answer is no, because it wasn't how you did it, it's what you did. And the what is so much more important than the how.
If I could add a small quick comment to that too, being the central IT guy, any kind of change is hard, especially when it's technologies. You got to realize that an IT professional can spend years, maybe they have degrees in certain things, and they spend years becoming an expert, and now they're seen as an expert. And that's where their internal credibility and their internal value comes from. So anyone, when you're asking them to change something personally and shift something away, really put yourself in their shoes and ask yourself, okay, what does this mean to them personally? Not professionally, not what's going on, but how does it impact them personally? And how can I build a relationship with them to better understand why they're making the decision? They're making this decision for some reason. We had the same environment even at the big IT groups. So I built a lot of software. Ken Aguillard, say hi, Ken. He's our Office 365 operations manager. And other side, that's Alan Chai. He builds a lot of great software too. So we had the same tension. He runs our tenant. He has 122,000 users to take care of, right? I only have 30, I just build the software. He makes sure the lights are on. He's the guy that gets called in the middle of the night. So I'm the one going, Ken, why isn't this working? Flip this switch, turn this switch on. Why don't we have this license? And we can argue about licenses later with Microsoft. But nevertheless, so I think one of my biggest successes, when I talk to my boss about why is this thing working for us as Center of Excellence, is because between Ken Allen and I, we have a relationship. We go out to lunch together. We go to Microsoft conferences together. We learn together. And together we can go figure it out. But that personal relationship is so powerful for any types of change. If you don't have it, if you don't understand what that person's going through, then you're not going to be able to influence them. And IT people are like all engineers. You get scared. And your whole life may be wrapped around sort of technology. And then you have to learn something new. You're not going to be near as fast or smart. And then maybe you're worried about your job. So something to keep in mind.
Definitely. There was another question.
there's a couple sides of that. First of all, about March of last year, this guy named Alan, which we didn't even know at the time, built this app called Active Europe, right? This app that basically, so he runs a digital, small, high-performing IT team based in Europe that serves our local Europe leadership team. He built this app that's focused around this. I'll put a plug. You guys should come tomorrow about 10:30. Chevron and Schlumberger. We'll talk about it. You'll hear more about it. So how do we do Power Apps, right? The centers of excellence and other stuff. So he built this app. And overnight, it had like 1,500. How many users? 800, 1,500 users. And Ken's like pinging me. Who is this guy, Alan? I was like, I don't know who this guy is. Like, he's like collecting health data. I'm like, what's a Power App? So we didn't even know it was happening. So for us, it was this big wake-up call of, oh my gosh, it's happening in our tenant. People are already building them. At that time, I think there was already a couple hundred apps that are being built. And this is a real piece of software. And so our first reaction was, it's just Power Apps. It's not real software, right? But then you saw what he was doing, the speed at which he was deploying, and it was a big wake-up call for us to really look at what's happening. So our first initial response, and I won't go through the whole spiel because I'll kind of ruin the stuff for tomorrow, but we really wanted to say, no, stop. But unfortunately, we controlled our natural IT urge to do that, right? And let them go build stuff. And with any type of change, it has to be wrapped around business value. So that's the real story. It's not about, hey, it'd be great if you could turn this on. It'd be cool, we could have some fun, or we could do something interesting. It's that business ROI that you can show a difference. Like, so powerful to me to see like an app that you could see a kid's learning capability improving. Like, how do you help a kid? Like, I mean, that's powerful. There's the value there. If you can show the value, but just get started. Like, go build something that creates value. And then I'll tell you, the best weapon against a guy like me is a business leader saying, I need this software now. Look at what this guy's doing by himself. I've given you $1 million and you haven't done anything. Like, go do this. I get this all the time with Alan. Alan's like, he builds this stuff like overnight with like students, and I have like 60 people and these architects, and it takes us like 6 years, and you know, and that's the biggest weapon. Go build something quick, have an impact, get some users, and then go use the business against IT, and it will drive change. Because everybody wants to, I mean, you're a company. You want to make money, right? That ROI calculation showing value means everything.
And I want to add something. So citizen developers do something a bit weird, right? So like you see it sometimes in Pro Dev where they go to hackathons and they do stuff. So Nick, will you tell us a little bit about Red Cross, Kathy, you know what I'm going to say, and where you were yesterday and what kind of happened? Would you tell us about that with the hackathon? And tell us a little bit about that Hurricane Harvey app.
Oh yeah. So at the American Red Cross, we're primarily we're led by volunteers. So while I'm one of our paid staff, we're nothing without all of our volunteer workforce. And so tomorrow morning, another shameless plug here, right? Tomorrow morning we will be sharing a little bit more about kind of how we're utilizing the Power Platform. But one of our volunteers, Kathy, she'll be speaking tomorrow. She was deployed to Hurricane Harvey, and she clicked on the Power App tile, and she was able to, while she was deployed, make a whole status check-in app to see how volunteers were doing. And so what we found is that it's actually even helped. We now have an official job, kind of a volunteer job description written around it. We've got folks now that are volunteering who meet through Skype meetings that are no longer, they're not in the same state by any means, and so they're coming together and building apps and solving business problems. And so that's just a really cool thing where I know that doesn't necessarily address your question there, but just that it's enabled for us to be able to reach a whole new audience of volunteers that we wouldn't have been able to engage otherwise. And as to the question there as to somebody had asked about the kind of sustainability of it, how do you train these folks? Maybe it was back there. How do you? And it's you don't have to, because the people that want to make these apps, they want to do it. They want to learn, and there's such you hear so much about the community. There was no one in IT that helped me learn to do Power Apps. There was nobody that from the company that helped with that piece, and that's not a bad thing by any means. It was the community. It's me or any of us just actively going out because we truly desire to want to do this and doing the searching and watching the YouTube videos. So if you, to Lad's point, if you just let it happen, then there's not a whole lot of teaching that you got. It's kind of like owning a goldfish. It's a good kid's first pet. You just put it in the bowl and let it go, right? Maybe we're the goldfish.
Maybe you are the goldfish, but the orange team that Kathy was a part of yesterday, we had a Hack for Good event for everyone yesterday. And Kathy was in the final. She was a finalist.
Yeah.
And, so that's
And they
someone
were
coming
making
from,
apps.
with AI.
So there were folks who were students that were just coming in that were doing machine learning as their degree and wanted to do all sorts of stuff. There were folks who walked in, hadn't done a single Power App or Flow in their life. And we had this hackathon where people were doing stuff for Red Cross and also then for the Pediatric AIDS Foundation. And people were making apps where you could take a picture of a building and see that it had burned down, see just kind of the severity of the disaster, when the whole use case was just need to be able to move from this paper form. And I remember Vivek last night, he says, so do you guys think you'll actually be able to use this? I said, dude, if all it did was just post a picture to a SharePoint list, that would have still been far better than the paper and pen that we were using. Like, this is machine learning and all sorts of stuff just from people just playing around and having fun.
And this is part of the citizen developer thing that we see, the phenomenon. So Lauren likes to learn out loud. You learn out loud on Twitter with us. You ask for help. You say, I'm stuck. It's a big thing saying I'm stuck, asking the question as a teacher. And you may have noticed at the bottom of Rebecca's demo, there was a big, long web address to a blog post you've written on your solution.
Yeah, on the Flow community, I posted it.
Yeah, because it's sharing, it's putting it forward. I remember one of my worst experiences, and I won't name the community group, but like basically if you ask a question and they don't like the way you've asked it, they kind of shut you down, and then you can't get any more like questions answered because you can't actually ask any more questions or make any comments. And it completely disengaged me from that piece of trying to be a normal developer. And this thing's just been like, we've all been helping one another from the get-go. It's like, it's a lovely thing, and it's part of the citizen developer framework. So from that, you'll see in many large organizations, groups of people saying, right, okay, well, there's this thing called Yammer, and building Yammer groups. And if you watch SNCF videos and you go and you kind of listen to some of the deployments that we'll talk about in the next couple of days with the real world stories, you'll see many organizations building their own internal Power Apps communities. And it's really heartening to see. And someone was telling me the other day about one organization who shall remain nameless, but they're quite big. And they were kind of like actively policing this thing because they felt that everyone needed an answer. And then like someone went away on holiday and they came back and the community would just all of a sudden became self-sufficient and self-sustaining. Like absolutely incredible stuff. Any more questions? Man at the back.
Related to what you were just saying, a question for Lauren. How did you learn how to use all the tools that you use to create what you created? What was that process like?
Can you repeat the question?
So the question was, how did Lauren learn all those fantastic tools?
The community. That's really it. I learned through the experience of using the Power Platform that there was capability out there that anything that I needed my app to do, it could do. And then you join Twitter and Power Addicts, and you're like, oh my gosh, these people are doing stuff that is light years ahead of me. So if I throw this question out there, my favorite thing to do, I'll be stuck on something, and I'll just post a question on Twitter, and then I go to bed. And my and I laugh about that because, there's users all over the world. And so I'll pose my question, and I go to bed, and I wake up, and I have my answer because, it's like instant gratification because I wake up and my answer's there. So that's how I've learned. I've been on calls with these guys, and they walk me through things, and I'm like, oh, and it can do this and that. And I mean, there's so much learning out there available that's not formal is how I did my training.
Yeah. Friends and family. Go on, sir.
So I bring down the hammer over here. No, it's a wonderful question. So the question
So-
is, how do we deal with data privacy concerns, especially in multiple different countries? We're in 86 countries globally, so the laws are myriad and crazy, and how do you deal with all of it? And, I was just actually on a phone call a couple hours ago with one of our attorneys telling us we can't have pictures of real people and real names in our presentation for tomorrow because of this reason. But it's a real challenge, right? You already had the challenge with SharePoint. It exists today. PowerApps doesn't change that. So let's not get all scared and wrapped around the axle on it, okay? We get, when you're at the central IT side and you're looking at all these things that are happening, it's easy to be very fearful, right? But you have to remember that a lot of these things already exist today. You already have some processes around that. But you have to have some way of monitoring. If you're going to let people go build stuff, like with SharePoint or with PowerApps, you have to be able to monitor it. So you need to really invest in that as a company. We'll talk about that tomorrow, right? Chevron does that amazingly well as a company, by the way. You'll hear about that tomorrow. They're much farther ahead than we do. But you have to invest. You have to watch what connectors are they using. Ken has a great strategy around governance of our environments. When we first started seeing things happen, we took a lot of things out, not everything, in our default environment, right? You can't connect to Twitter, You have to go ask before you get CDS. Not because it's a bad thing. CDS is a great thing. I'm a big believer in CDS, but there are the downside of letting people store things they shouldn't store is then the company becomes liable for that. And it could be millions of dollars of implications once we become aware of it, right? So it's looking at those processes and monitoring what's happening. For us, it's when an app gets over 50 monthly active users, we go in, dive deep into, okay, now you get IT governance, you get architecture, you get data loss prevention, you get security reviews, you get TCC reviews, and we have several of them going through now. You'll hear about it tomorrow. Plug again, 10:30, and about what we're trying to do around it. It's not easy, but let me turn it around and say, imagine harvesting the innovation of your entire organization, and all the innovation happens at the edges of your enterprise. And in central IT, you're never going to have the budget or the people or the structure to deal with that. You have to let this wave hit you, and you gotta swallow it, understand it's going to happen, and get your mind around it, and get some really smart people looking at it. But if you're going to unleash digitization, which we're really trying to in Schlumberger, we're trying to really make data the center of what we do. If you want to have a vision of doing all these amazing things like AutoML and AI Builder and everything else, leveraging CDS and CDM, all this stuff can't come from IT, right? In fact, some of the best ideas don't come from IT. And that's another thing we got to admit to ourselves, right? We're all these professionals. The best ideas usually don't come from us. They come from the edges of the enterprise. How do you let them innovate, but still put some guardrails in place to make sure you don't go crash off into the side and pay millions of damages? So, long answer, sorry.
Three best things I've heard in the last year. Two of them were from a session like this. One was digital guardrails, one was creating data stewards, and one was about technical debt. So those concepts came out of sessions very similar to this, and what Lad says, absolutely spot on. Spot on. We had some more questions. Go on, sir.
I forced them. I mean, I do.
So the question is, how did you deal with adoption as citizen developers?
Yeah, I mean, we've learned with our people that if you try to say, here's something if y'all want to try it when you get time, they will not use it. You have to tell them, this is the way you'll do it now. You have to put your stuff in here. Let them cry for a little while, and then they'll see all the benefits to it that they've never noticed before.
So my answer to that is actually the opposite, because I have to deal with teacher contracts and what I can and cannot tell you to do, and what I can and cannot tell you to do with your time, and so it gets sticky. And so I do things like put in Teams, and I lean on the people that I know are going to use it, and I really try to highlight those people. You know, Microsoft came out and did a video on the apps, and the teachers that I chose to be in that video were strategic. So I know you're going to go back and tell this one. I know this one's going to watch it because you're in it. And so it's just being strategic and people saying, oh, this is easy. Oh, yeah. So am I at 100% adoption? No. Do I plan on being there next year? Yeah, because I've already got more who are like, oh, yeah, this is really worth it. But I can't, I am the assistant principal, but there are so many things that I cannot tell teachers to do, so.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, go for it. Adoption's a big topic.
So I'll give you a real short lesson after deploying like 80 apps and like 30,000 users, mobile apps, right, that are all on everyone's phone. It has to create individual value for the user. If it doesn't create value for them personally, right, me personally, I'm not going to pull my phone out and use it. We call it the mobile moment. I walk into Starbucks, I order my Americano with steamed cream, and it's my little drink. And as the barista's making my coffee, I have to pull my phone out and do something of value to me personally, or I have to click some button. If it doesn't create value for me, I'm not going to adopt it. So, or I'm going to fight you. But I do agree with the force it down their throat sometimes. I mean, sometimes it depends on the personas, right? It what you do, but I word
Value
that.
eventually.
Absolutely.
You gotta do that first force.
Go on, Nick.
Just a couple things. One, with our largest app has about 500 users that it's targeting, and so we found that one of the biggest pieces of feedback coming back from it was because we turned a paper process into a digital one, and our workforce for that particular job is generally more retirees, and so they were struggling with scanning a paper document and attaching it to an email. And so one of the biggest pieces of feedback that came out of it with the app, oh my gosh, I love the app. Now I don't have to try and insert supervisor name here, on how to scan an email, this attachment. And you were talking about it's got to drive the business value. And what is so cool is that it's the end users who are coming forward with the need that needs solved, with the problem that needs solved. And so too, even for my direct reports, so we've got apps that our whole nationwide instructor team are using, but then we've also got apps that are just for my direct reports. And so we'll have our team meeting, and an example here, Chuck is one of my team members, and he says, Nick, it'd be really cool if we could remove or just kind of delete one of these things off of our screens. I said, well, Chuck, let's do it, man. And so we just drag and drop that trash can icon on there, and I said, well, now, Chuck, where would you like this icon to be? And so just in a matter of a phone call, we're able to add the delete button. So we're able to have people be a part of the process, because it's not, and instead then I'm not wasting IT's time by saying, can you please add this icon here or delete this icon here? IT's now able to spend their time running data centers. And so then I'm able to help Chuck add a trash can icon. And he's a part of the process for that whole change management piece.
I like to put something cool in and leave something obvious out of an app. So I think that's a really good shout. So you put something in that's a bit cool that the process didn't do before, and I leave something really glaringly obvious out. And then one of the people is going to come and go, well, it doesn't do this thing, and that's normally the guy who's like got the biggest mouth, and to your point, and I say, well, come on, yeah, let's sit down and do this together. And then he goes back and he says, that's my idea, everyone. I thought of that. He's rubbish. He's useless. And he is my biggest advocate.
And I will add with what you said made me think is, do the people who are using the apps are the one who are going to give good input. You'll get the managers, and they're going to tell you this, and they're going to tell you that, and they've never done the job, so they don't know really what's done. And when you actually talk to people who are the ones in the field using it, they're the ones who are going to give you the actual useful information. Yes, you need to know what the end result's going to be from the manager, but the person who's going to use it, they're going to tell you stuff that the manager has no clue about.
Absolutely, absolutely. Right, we've got time for a few more. Go for it, sir.
Following on from that, Rebecca, what's the best bit of feedback you've had from the apps that you've built?
So the question is, what's the best bit of feedback you've had from the apps you've built? That's a great question. Dangerous one.
Your problem guy talking to a customer. Tell that story.
The which one?
He was bragging to a customer how great that tool was, and he's your problem.
Oh, yeah. So the big app I have with the Traveler, the PMs use it, and they're the biggest bunch of crybabies ever. And if they're watching this video, I'll tell them. And So I'm always having to bug this guy to put his stuff in. Like, it holds up the whole process. Like, put your stuff in. I do audits on it fairly regular so that I can go gripe at them. But I hear him across the hall meeting with a customer, and he's bragging on how wonderful this app is, and it makes things just so smooth and all that. I could not wait till he got out of there. I was like, excuse me? You need to go get your stuff updated because, so they realize the value, and they realize how much good it looks to other people out there. They see it. It's just, you're trying to get them to do it. But it takes time. I would say, like, it takes most of mine, 2-3 months, and then, they like it. But yeah, I would say it's hearing them talk about it to other people, because when they're talking to me, all I hear about is all the stuff they're whining about, that, just little things like that you wouldn't even believe. How am I supposed to know what this trash can means? Like, I don't understand the question. But you just, as they go, that's when you'll get the real value after they've used it some.
Absolutely, right.
I would say the best bit of feedback that I have received has just been, it's not verbal feedback, but my biggest struggle is my veteran teachers, right? And there's veterans in every industry, but my veteran teachers, and when they are proponents of the app, to me is the best bit of feedback, because they're stepping outside their comfort zone, just like, it's very similar. Like, they're using this app because of the relationship that I have with them, not because they think they need it. They've been teaching for 20 some odd years without it. So that has been the best bit of feedback for me.
So we're going to have a little video because we want to show you about Power Addicts, and it's free because it's on Twitter. You're all welcome to ask as many questions as you like. Just hashtag the Power Addicts, come along. The only thing we ask is that you pay it forward and answer a question if someone asks something you know something about. So there they all are. Aren't they lovely? We've got video here.
We started this journey with a bunch of people who loved the Power Platform and loved talking about it. We called ourselves the Power Addicts. Individuals with an almost obsessive need and desire to bring positive change, solve problems, and automate processes. But was that the correct definition? We thought, why not just ask the community what Power Addicts meant to them? So we started a challenge on Twitter and asked everyone to share their thoughts. Well, we received a lot of videos from all over the world. Everyone was talking about these 4 common themes. 1, everyone's free to ask anything.
Everybody in the community puts up with my dumb questions.
2, passion to learn and teach others.
To me, the Power Addicts is a community of people who are passionate about the Power Platform.
3, everyone is welcome.
Whether you are a new person or an existing community member, you are always welcome.
Place that celebrated diversity and inclusion.
4, it's a family.
What does Power Addicts mean to me? It means family. This is more than technology. This is more than friendship. The bonds that I have made and that we have all made, you guys are my family.
These 4 values define what we do. However, there is even a stronger message that connects all of us.
Really what it was about was summed up by that phrase of we rise by uplifting others.
This is why we are proud to call ourselves the Power Addicts. Don't believe me? Well, see it for yourself.
Hey, this is Andrew Welch.
My name is Antti Pajunen.
It's Brandon. Chris Huntingford.
Daniel Christian.
And I'm a Power Addict.
And I am a Power Addict.
And I am a Power Addict.
I'm proud to be a Power Addict.
My name is Vivek, and I'm a Power Addict.
I am Geeta, and I am a Power Addict.
I'm Louisa, and I'm a Power Addict.
Power Addict.
Power Addict.
I'm definitely a Power Addict.
Being a Power Addict is just freaking awesome.
I'm going to give a shout out to Vivek, who basically put that video together. He started that tweet, and he put the video together like 2 days ago.
Thank you very much for coming. We're available for questions as always, here and on Twitter.